Humble Beginnings of Jesus, Part 2, The Boy Who Grew in Wisdom. Years passed and Jesus grew up in the small town of Nazareth, living a simple life. His early life might not have been marked by grand events, but it was a period of growth, learning, and preparation for the incredible journey that lay ahead. As a child, Jesus displayed qualities that hinted at his true nature. He was curious, asking many questions about the world around him. His mind was sharp, and he loved to learn. His parents, Mary and Joseph, recognized that Jesus was not an ordinary child. They marveled at his intelligence and his deep understanding. There was something extraordinary about him that set him apart. When Jesus was around 12 years old, he accompanied his parents on a trip to Jerusalem for Passover, a major Jewish holiday. It was during this journey that a remarkable incident occurred. After the Passover celebrations ended, Mary and Joseph realized that Jesus was not with them. They searched frantically for him, calling his name and looking everywhere. They were worried and scared, not knowing where he could be. They found him in the temple, sitting in the midst of the teachers, listening intently as they discussed religious matters. He was asking them questions, and all who heard his responses were amazed by his wisdom. The people in the temple were impressed by Jesus' knowledge, and some even asked, "How can this child have such wisdom?" But his parents were not just surprised by his wisdom, they were deeply concerned. They scolded him gently, asking why he had caused them so much worry. Jesus, however, seemed unfazed by their concern. He simply replied, "Did you not know that I must be in my Father's house?" This answer showed them that Jesus had a deep connection to God. It hinted at his true identity, but they couldn't fully comprehend its meaning at that moment. This event in the temple revealed to Jesus that he was about to embark on a mission that was bigger than he was. He knew that his life had a purpose, but at that time he couldn't fully understand what that purpose was. But his parents realized they had to teach him the values of God and prepare him for his future. So Mary and Joseph continued to guide Jesus in his spiritual development. They taught him about faith, love, and the importance of helping others. They wanted to ensure that he grew up as a kind, compassionate young man, ready to fulfill whatever destiny awaited him. Jesus grew into a strong young man, skilled in the work of a carpenter, which was his father's trade. His mother, Mary, often watched him work, feeling a mix of pride and worry in her heart. Pride because of the fine craftsmanship that he displayed, and worry for the path his life would take. One day, as Jesus worked in his father's carpentry shop, hammering and shaping wood, his mother approached him. She carried a heavy box filled with old tools and asked him to help her carry it to a nearby charity center. Jesus, without hesitation, put down his hammer and helped his mother carry the box. Together, they walked through the town, talking about various things as they had done countless times before. Upon arriving at the charity center, Mary opened the box and showed the old tools to the people gathered there. She explained that his father, Joseph, had crafted these tools. Now that he was gone, she wanted to distribute them to those who needed them more. Mary hoped that through this act of kindness, Jesus would understand the value of sharing and caring for others. As Jesus witnessed the gratitude in the eyes of the people receiving the tools, he felt a sense of satisfaction. It made him realize that his father had not only been a carpenter, but also a generous man who thought of those less fortunate. This event in the town square left a lasting impression on Jesus. It helped him see the importance of using his skills to help others and treating everyone with kindness and respect. Mary knew that her son was getting older and that soon he would leave Nazareth to begin his own journey in life. She cherished these moments with him, knowing that their bond would soon change. While walking through the fields near Nazareth, Jesus and Mary encountered a group of children throwing stones at a bird. Mary stopped and turned to Jesus, asking him if he would intervene and stop them. At first, Jesus didn't seem to care, probably remembered a time when he himself had enjoyed playing with stones, but then his mother's words changed his perspective. "Look, my son," she said, "there are those who need these stones more than we do." Suddenly, Jesus realized that his actions could affect others. He knew that the children could use their energy for something better. With a gentle voice, Jesus approached the children and told them to stop their cruel game. He explained that the bird had a life of its own and that hurting it was not right. The children, surprised by his words, looked at each other. life. They hadn't thought about it that way before. Mary smiled at seeing how her son was able to influence the children. She knew that Jesus had a gift for understanding and connecting with people, even the youngest ones. She believed that this ability would play a significant role in his future. After that day, Mary often thought about how important it was to treat every living thing with kindness and compassion. She was proud of her son for showing empathy towards the little bird and understanding that every creature deserved to be treated with respect. She knew that this value would continue to guide him throughout his life. The story of Jesus' childhood teaches us many valuable lessons. First, it shows us the importance of seeking wisdom. Jesus, even as a young boy, was full of questions and eager to learn. The Bible tells us to trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. However, this verse doesn't mean that we shouldn't seek wisdom or knowledge. It reminds us to recognize that true wisdom comes from God, and that we should always acknowledge his guidance in our lives. Another lesson we learn from Jesus' childhood is the significance of listening to our parents. When Mary and Joseph found Jesus in the temple, they were initially worried and upset. But rather than punishing him, they talked to him and taught him, showing him the importance of considering their feelings. In the same way, the Bible tells us to honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment with a promise. By listening to our parents and honoring them, we not only fulfill a divine command, but also enrich our lives with their love and guidance. Finally, the story of Jesus teaches us the value of helping others. When Mary asked Jesus to help her carry the heavy box, he didn't hesitate to assist her. In the same way, the Bible tells us to bear one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ. By supporting and caring for others, especially those close to us, we demonstrate the love of Christ and contribute to building a more compassionate world. In conclusion, Jesus' childhood was a period of growth, learning, and preparation. It was a time when he developed his character, learned from his parents, and discovered his purpose. As we reflect on the story of Jesus' childhood, let's remember the valuable lessons it holds. Let's seek wisdom, listen to our parents, and help others. By embracing these lessons in our own lives, we can strive to become better individuals and followers of Christ. And with that, we come to the end of today's video. We hope you enjoyed this episode of our series and have been inspired by the life of Jesus. If you have any comments or suggestions, please share them below. We'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this. Thank you for watching. God bless you. Remember, in the quiet moments of life, listen closely. You might hear the whispers of God guiding you on your journey.